It is launch day for the book, No Problem Parenting. For those of you who are parents, you know that there's never a time without problems when you have kids around. So today we're talking to the authors of this book, and we have one of them here today, Kate Lund. Welcome to this book, and welcome here to launch day. So why don't you just, we'll start out by having you introduce yourself and just tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sally. Thanks so much for having me. Well, so I'm Dr. Kate Lund, as you mentioned. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist, have been for 20 years. I'm a mom. I have 15-year-old twin boys, and I have a passion for working with parents to help them see the potential in their children and maximize that potential within their child's own unique context.
I love it. I love it. So 15-year-old twins, how does that work with your schedule?
Yeah, I hear you. You know, it's first and foremost, it's fun. These are great boys, right? But I will say that, you know, they keep my husband and I on our toes for sure. Managing two full-time careers, two dogs, and two very, very busy boys can be challenging. But at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun, and we try to focus on that fun as best we can as we manage through and beyond the inevitable challenges that do come up.
Yeah, I grew up with 4 brothers, so I hear you. You know,
Yeah,
having boys around is fun. I loved hanging around with the guys.
absolutely. And you know, the boy energy, right? It is fun. And you know, for me, I think I'm much better suited to be a boy mom than a girl mom. I'm not much into makeup or clothes or what have you. You can often find me in my golf clothes and my running shoes. So, you know, if I had a girl who was dressing up all the time, it might be a bit more challenging for me.
That's when you reach out to your family and friends, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So what made you decide to write a chapter in a book called No Problem Parenting?
Well, you know, it was after my podcast interview with JC, right? And it felt like a really important book, you know, because my passion is in helping parents to see the potential in their children and build that potential out within each child's own unique context. And it just felt like a great opportunity to spotlight that passion, that idea in this book with other authors who are writing about similar topics, just helping parents be at their best.
So that's part of your title. Your title of the book is Cultivating Your Child's Strength Within Their Own Unique Context. What does that mean?
Well, it really means that it's important for us to look at our children as individuals and help them to foster their potential, flourish within their own unique context based on their interests, their aptitudes, you know, what they're good at, and use those strengths to overcome the challenges that they're inevitably going to face. And I'm, you know, living this with our 15-year-old twin boys, in that these are, you know, the boys are very close, but they're very, very different. One struggled in school early on, still struggles to a degree. So it's a question of helping him to see his strengths and use those strengths to his advantage in whatever area he's living at that moment. And the other one, very, very strong in school, has other challenges. So helping him to see his strengths and use those to help him through his challenges, really, really important. Same concept, plays out very differently with different kids.
Yeah. How do you help parents that have difficulty seeing their children's struggles or what their children's going through, or they're going through their own struggles, to kind of work with that? Because I think, you know, a lot of times we're trying to live our lives and help our kids live their lives, and we kind of get into a problem, you know. How do parents, you know, find a way to keep their kids individual and to make that work?
Right. Yeah, it's a great question, you know, and it really starts, I believe, with authentic human connection. To be open to hearing our kids' experiences without trying to jump in with that quick fix or that fix in general, but just to be there on an authentic human level such that you're encouraging the conversations to unfold over time. And that will help us to sort of understand where our kids are coming from and will help us to see their strengths, their potential, from various angles. And that will help us to help them see their strengths and potential. Because oftentimes those things get lost in the midst of very busy day-to-day lives. And then if we're struggling ourselves as parents with some sort of a challenge, yeah, it can become very difficult, as you mentioned. So really, it's setting time aside to foster that authentic human connection daily, to make that part of the routine, that part of the family ritual. Easier said than done, but a really important focus to have.
Yeah, yeah, and it all comes down to communication, right? And it's that communicating with your kid, and then even communicating, and being aware of yourself and what your needs and wants are. So, how does the parent take care of their self to make sure that they're there for their kids?
Yeah, that's another great question and a really, really important point. And so when I'm working with parents, I'm always focusing with them on, okay, how can we develop a self-care plan for you? And it's going to look different for all of us, right? For some people, it might be daily exercise, daily meditation, or for others, it might be, 15 minutes with a cup of coffee on the front porch, or a walk around the block, or a phone call with a friend, or what have you. But helping parents, and again, this is easier said than done, to really dial in a solid self-care plan that they can internalize and integrate and live from the inside out is vital. It's really, really important in helping us as parents to then help our kids. And we're also modeling a really important thing for our children, because we want them also to be developing solid self-care plans.
Yeah, yeah. I know, I had my daughter's just turned 29, and she's a school teacher, and, all growing up, that communication and then doing the things with her and making sure that I took care of myself and all of that was all part of, it's all part of that parenting package, right? It's all part of that parenting that we have to do once we decide and we have the children.
Absolutely. It's all part of it, right? It's multifaceted for all of us. There's really, and it's important to mention, as I touched on earlier, there's really no one size fits all. It's going to look different for all of us.
Yeah. So how do we find that individual piece for each one of us?
Well, it starts with awareness and, support. If we're having trouble zeroing in on what's going to work for us as parents or for our kids, in terms of that self-care, in terms of identifying strengths and using those to our advantage, it's about getting support, whether that's through coaching or therapy or, a combination of the two, close friend, having that level of support, that ability to bounce ideas off another person is very, very powerful and very, very important.
Yeah. Well, can you tell us a little bit maybe about your chapter without giving too much away?
Sure. So my chapter is really derived. It sort of pulls together my own experiences as a child growing up with a significant medical challenge called hydrocephalus, which had me in and out of the hospital a lot, kind of coming back to school, looking different, feeling different. And it really integrates that experience with my clinical experience of 20 years as a psychologist, with my experience as a mom, right? And it's pulling together those three areas in terms of how is it possible to focus on what we can do as opposed to what we can't do? How is it possible to help our kids appreciate their own unique context and flourish within that context? And how is it possible to help our kids to see the possibilities on the other side of challenge? So that's really the big idea in the chapter.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, we're speaking with the authors of the book, No Problem Parenting, that is launching today. Head on over to actiontakerspublishing.com/NPP to get your copy. So Kate, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Sure. So through my website, which is www.katelundspeaks.com, that's the first way. I'm also very active on LinkedIn, so that's a great way to connect with me. So I'd say those are the two ways.
Perfect. Perfect. So what do you want the readers to take away from reading your chapter in this book?
Well, I really would like them to take away this big idea of, see the possibility on the other side of challenge. See the possibility in terms of how we all have the capacity to move through and beyond challenge, to flourish within our own unique context. And, I encourage parents to see the possibilities for themselves as well as for their children.
Kate, thank you so much for being part of this journey and for being part of this book. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, Sally. I appreciate it as well.
Hi, I'm Debbie Allen, and I just had an amazing opportunity working with Linda. She really knows publishing, and this is a big thing coming from me because I've written now 10 books. She helped me with my 10th book. I've been working with major publishers and had all kinds of amazing opportunities, but I wanted to get this book done fast, and I wanted to work with somebody that could publish it for me, do a hybrid publishing. And I just thought, okay, I'll take a chance on Linda, let's get it done. And she walked me through this process so easily. It was such a joy. And here is the big deal. I have been a professional expert in marketing and books for over 20 years, and I learned a lot from Linda. She gave me some great marketing ideas I never even thought of. My book was timely. In fact, it was a month early, and we even made Amazon bestseller before our launch. I can't tell you that she's just an amazing person to work with. She follows up. She gives you more than you're expected, that you expect you're going to get, and you will get a really high quality product, and you'll have a really great time working with Linda. She's a true professional.